Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing another training run video. Training run video is basically a video where I train in Rocket League while I talk about a specific subject that interests me. And today's subject is going to be the grand finals, the grand regional finals that FaZe and B1 just had. I just watched it and it's really fresh on my mind, so I want to talk about it. So as we all know, the winner was B1, and Daniel finally got his first regionals championship. Good for him. Oh my god. But before I talk about B1, I kind of want to talk about FaZe. Obviously they lost, okay, but and you know, to the whole grand finals, it felt like B1 was the better team and FaZe was kind of just keeping up with them. At points, FaZe, you know, got a pretty good lead, got some momentum, but for the most part, I would say the momentum was on B1's part, the whole series. But you know, internally, from what I saw in the game, I saw the one that really stepped up for FaZe was Sypical, especially during the mid games. You know, it was kind of Sypical, the ones that was getting by the B1's defense, and he played pretty good. In terms of defense, I saw Miss like keeping up their defense pretty good. He also scored a couple of goals. He did pretty good. I mean, how do I say it? He was present there, but he wasn't really making big plays. None of them were. I guess First Killer was making some big plays, but compared to like, you know, bully first Killer, you know, when he just comes in and bullies everyone, he wasn't really doing that. He really didn't have that momentum, and at points he really felt like oh my god, at points he really felt like he was like, I don't know, like giving up. There was a point and a couple of points in FaZe where they felt like they were just overwhelmed by B1, you know what I mean? So yeah, Sypical, like I said, played pretty good. I was surprised. Sypical is a player that, I don't know, I always liked Sypical ever since he was in SSG. I think he's a great player. I talked about him with my friend, and you know, we both agree a little bit that he's the kind of player that, you know, when he's on, he's amazing. But when he's not on, you know, he's not always that consistent. But in this grand final, he was pretty consistent. You know, he was getting by B1 where everybody else was struggling from FaZe just to get a shot in there, and Sypical did pretty good. Now First Killer, as you know, he's a great scorer, and he does score. You know, don't get me wrong, but as an overall contribution to his team, I would say Sypical did more, honestly, than First Killer, at least in that grand final. He scored a couple of pretty good goals. I mean, it's First Killer, right? He's a great shooter, and I think he had a career high on this, you know, spring thing. He scored 39 goals, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, he was the lead scorer, I think, for the whole thing, which, you know, it's First Killer. It's come to be expected. But in this grand final, I don't know. He has some moments where he shined a little bit. If he had, you know, if it had been that kind of game where, you know, First Killer had a lot of momentum, FaZe would have done, you know, a lot better. But it wasn't that kind of series, you know what I mean? Yeah, overall, First Killer, you know, didn't super step up to the play, even though, you know, he didn't play bad or anything. It's just, you know, you holding First Killer to, like, you know, when he peaks, he didn't peak at any point. So yeah, that was kind of the problem. Now for V1, I would say that the first couple of games, I remember Daniel was killing them, bro. He was like, he started out the gate, like just, I think he scored in the first game, he scored all 3 goals for them to get the win. Later on, Beast Mode started to wake up a little bit, and he started, you know, adding in terms of offense. He started like contributing. And Daniel overall, I would say, you know, aside from, you know, from sometimes being the lead scorer, he was a great defender in that whole series, man. Like, he really locked the whole place down. Daniel's like a very much fluid player, but it's kind of hard to determine exactly where he lands, at least for me, because he's too good at defense to only be just an attacker. You know what I mean? And I don't know, it might even make sense to put Daniel at a third, like a really strong third, like Batira or something, because he really is good defensively, and he's very technical, and he can score too on a pinch. You know what I mean? He can come in clutch with a good technical offensive attack too. You know what I mean? but his defense is just too freaking good. Yet I don't see Daniel as a third, right? I mainly see Daniel playing one or two, or especially one, because he's such a good attacker offensively that you don't wanna, you don't wanna not use that tool from him. But I think, I don't know, I think in my opinion he might be better defensively, honestly, as a defensive player, because he's super smart too. I don't think he's the kind of player like First Killer, right? First Killer has the mentality of like, you can kind of feel of like a scorer. You understand what I mean? Daniel doesn't play with that kind of mentality. He can score, don't get me wrong, obviously. And so does Beast Mode. Beast Mode, I would say, has more the mentality of a scorer, right? But I don't know. I think Daniel just, I don't know. For me, he's more like a smart defensive player than an attacker. That's kind of what I'm getting at. But I think the secret sauce, honestly, for version 1 doing so good was Calm. Honestly, maybe I'm super biased because lately I'm starting to like Calm a lot. Oh my god, I can't say that! Calm, the player, not the other thing. You know what I mean, right? Like Calm is I thought, honestly, he was the secret sauce for their win. Oh my god, that would have been a nice scuff double tap. Honestly, the guy was just a pest. And at the same time, while being a pest, he was playing a great teammate. He was passing the ball like a great teammate. He kept getting like this, like, how do I say this? He would slow the pace down a little bit every time he got a touch, especially on the inside. He would kind of fake them out a little bit. And even though that didn't create a lot of opportunity for him to score, it created an opportunity for them to keep them on the offense attack, and it created opportunities for him to pass too, which he did a lot of great passes in the game. Like overall, he played like such a great supporting role in this series, dude, that I don't like. I spoke to one of my friends. He said that, you know, Calm is a little weak if you compare it to Beast Mode and Daniel, because they're different kind of players, right? They're like superstar kind of flashy kind of players that can hit like a flashy aerial and impress everybody, right? Calm rarely does that, but he's more like a support role player, and I think at that he's amazing. For me, it was clearly obvious how much it was helping with, how much it helped B1 win that thing, because FaZe doesn't really. Oh, okay, that was kind of nice. That was kind of tough. Let me see that. Yeah, I take those. So I mean, yeah, I really think he was the secret sauce for them winning. I think for me, he was the MVP. Honestly, Daniel played really great, and they put a lot of significance over him because it's his first, you know, regional championship or whatever. That's pretty cool for him. I'm happy for him. But yeah, overall the whole thing was really cool. The whole experience was really cool. I don't have to catch up with all CS all the time, but I really enjoyed those matchups. The team, even though I would say B1 had an edge over them, it still felt like, you know, it was a balance. It was a balanced match. You know what I mean? That you know, the FaZe could have won it if, you know, if they had a little bit more momentum to their side, and if, let me tell you something, the defense from Calm as well was really good, and the defense from B1 in general was super solid. So I understand why FaZe really couldn't crack through it. You know what I mean? They were really solid on both ends, offensively and defensively. I don't know. They really played a really good game. And so did FaZe. You know what I mean? But you know, they couldn't keep up with how good B1 was, and B1 ended up taking the whole thing. So yeah, this was my video on the grand finals between version 1 and FaZe. If you stick to the end, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys later.